If you would like to grow up and stare at your feet all the time, then you probably shouldn't watch this video. Today we're talking about hunchback and what you can do to avoid it. Now more than ever, this is taking an effect on our posture. With COVID going on for the past 6 months, some of you have been stuck at the dining room table as your makeshift office, working on a laptop, looking down, hunched over all day. These positions that we're in for long periods of time, being seated and forward and gravity compressing us down, actually can tighten the chest and shoulder muscles, and it causes weakening and lengthening of the back muscles, which leads to rolled shoulders and a rounded mid-back or thoracic spine. This is classified as hunchback, or classically termed as that. So let's look at 5 different things you can do that will only take about 5 minutes a day that can literally prevent hunchback in its tracks. So number 1, what you want to do is stretch out these chest muscles, the pectoralis major and some of the deltoid muscles in the front, which can bring the shoulder forward. Even if you try to roll your shoulders back, some of you might notice that you limit that range of motion, and that's because the tightness through here is drawing your shoulders forward, and as a result it's pulling on in strength and stretching out those back muscles. So first thing you have to do is open up that so you can allow for that range of motion through your chest. The best way you can do this is with a doorway stretch. You can also do this on a foam roller. If you haven't looked at the postural foam rolling exercises, here's an old video I did that you can check out up here. Number 2 is just do postural relief positions throughout the day. So whether it's when you're sitting, you can set a good foundation in your low back, put your elbows to your side and point your thumbs behind you. This engages your back muscles slightly and stretches the front of your chest. I'd also recommend you get in the habit of doing this if you go for a daily walk. So a lot of us tend to look down when we're walking or look just a few feet in front of us. You should be looking out in front. And if you do this as you're walking, every 500 meters or so, and you put your elbows to the side, head back, and engage the back muscles by pointing your thumbs behind you. This is a good reminder for you to stand up straight, and it's a good way to hit 2 birds with 1 stone when you're out for that walk. And if you haven't seen the video on setting a good foundation, I did that last week. That link is up there as well, so you can check that out if you're doing it while you're seated. The third thing you can do is when you're on the foam roller, you can actually do some extension through there. So passively, you're creating more extension through the individual segments in your thoracic spine. There are 12 different thoracic vertebrae, and they all should have good movement through there. What can happen in the central part of the mid-back, where the apex of the curve is, if we're hunched over, essentially that curve, all the stress and strain goes to that one area. And a lot of times we have a difficult time extending back. So jumping on a foam roller is a great way, and doing some extension exercises over it to allow those thoracic segments to actually get passive extension through there. Number 4, once you have the passive extension through your mid-back in those segments, you have to activate the muscles that run along the spine, called the paraspinal muscles, to engage and get better endurance, so they have better support through your mid-back. Now, one of the best ways you can do this is with the cat-cow exercise, but you have to put way more emphasis on the portion where you're getting extension through your mid-back, and really focus on that part of your mid-back that feels like it's locked up. It will take a few weeks for you to develop some movement through there, but once it does, you'll be pleasantly surprised how it feels and how much more endurance you can build up through the mid-back. And last but not least is you want to get better scapular retraction. So your scapula are your shoulder blades, and a lot of times, because we're tucked forward like that, the shoulder blades can actually roll forward, cause a little bit of winging. So we want to engage those muscles that attach to the shoulder blades and draw them back. Think about positioning them. The ideal position should be tucking them into your opposite back pocket. So the little pointy part on the bottom of the wing of your scapula should go back to the opposite back pocket. That's how you want to tuck them. And the best exercise that I find is really good for people, and a lot of people find it difficult at the start, but there's great improvement, is what I call under arrest. So you do this against the wall. Make sure your heels, your bum, your mid-back, and the back of your head are against the wall. And then you're gonna put your arms up beside you and try to get the back of your forearm flush against the wall. And you're gonna keep it that way as you bring your arms up overhead. Now, one thing you'll note is if there's a lot of tightness through the front of the shoulder, or you have a really big hunchback already where you can't engage those muscles, you'll have a difficult time getting your arms even back against the wall. So if that's the case, really just work on doing the stretches through the chest first, and then see the gradual improvement to begin this exercise in the first place. I hope that helps. 5 minutes a day, you can stop hunchback in its tracks, and you'll be feeling way better because there'll be less strain on your spine.